Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to our information session on the newest and most affordable BSc in Trinidad and Tobago. And I hope you guys are all excited. For many of you, this might have been a decision long in the making, and for some of you, this may just be the next natural step. So, just about your presenters, my name is Ravi Raghunath. I'm the Executive Director of CTS College. This is my cell number and my email address, so you can use it to reach me at any time. And also with me today is Stefan Rampasad, who is the Program Manager for the BSc IT program. So Stefan is also joining us, and you'll note from time to time, Stefan will post some messages on the chat, and we'll try to respond to your messages as well while I deliver the presentation. One of the things we're asking you guys to do as well is if you could assist us, we're doing a small survey. It should take no more than a minute or two. It's really just for you to indicate how you found out about this information session, right? So the more specific thing is how you found out about the information session today. Was it like an advertisement on maybe Facebook or other social media, or was it something you heard on radio, etc.? The reason for it is to find out where our listeners are, where our students are coming from, so that it helps us in terms of better improving our advertising methods as well, so that we can better target where our audience is. Okay. Now, just a couple of things to note as well is that throughout the session, I'll be presenting information, but I want you to know that at any time you can ask questions. So you don't need to wait until the end of the session to ask a question. You can ask a question at any time that is convenient to you, and I will be more than happy to answer. If the question you ask is already available at the end of the slide or at some other point in the slide, I'll mention that. If not, I'll answer the question because I know it was not answered in the slides. Okay, so feel free to ask questions as you go along. Okay, all right. So in terms of what we'll be covering in today's session we look at why study the BSc Information Technology program, why study with the University of Bedfordshire, and why study at CTS College. We'll also look at the features of the program and how you can fit this program into your busy lifestyle, what you're going to learn, and what kind of support will CTS provide you to ensure that you're able to successfully complete the program. And then where will I graduate? Am I eligible to study? What are the entry requirements? And how much is this thing going to cost me as well? And of course, when can I start? So those are some of the questions we'll be answering in today's session. But as I said, feel free to ask and interject at any point if you have a question as well. Now, why study the BSc? So I'm going to throw this out to you guys, not just the BSc, but just why study in general. Okay, there are many options to studying, and you could choose not to study either. But why are you guys studying? So what we're going to do, I just want to open it out to you guys. And if you could share with me from your perspective, what is your main goal in terms of studying? What do you hope to achieve at the end of this program? Can anyone share? Feel free to share with us as well.
Morning.
Good morning.
For me, is really about career advancement. Just being eligible for better jobs and so on.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sean. And actually, based on previous surveys, is one of the most popular reasons people study as well. Anyone else would like to share any other reason you may be undertaking this program? Anyone else? Come on, guys. I hope this is not how you're going to be when you start class, right? So Ellen, you want to share with us why you want to do the program, why you're contemplating studying in the first instance, what you're hoping to gain from it?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm really interested in the program. I like computers, and I always wanted to further some studies in it. So,
and you want to eventually have a career in computing?
Really interested in finding out what it entails.
Not a problem. I appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Karen, any reason for you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm interested in career advancement and getting a permanent job after.
Not a problem. Totally understandable as well. In fact, guys, based on similar questions asking you guys, over the years, we've been doing similar information sessions, talking to students. And these are some of the things students have said in the past in terms of why study. Promotion often is one of the heaviest items on the list. So we have For those who are already employed, they're looking at, they may have been employed but don't have a proper qualification, or they don't have a qualification in the area. So they may study to gain a promotion, or maybe they want a change in career. You don't like what you're currently doing, or maybe you've always liked computing, but you didn't have the opportunity to do it before, and you want to switch careers to that area. So therefore you study the field of computing to get career advancement in that area, or maybe an increase in salary. So some companies, you may not get a promotion, but if you get a higher qualification, you may get an increase in salary, even though your job title and your job function remains the same. Often in the banking sector, we had a lot of students who were doing this as well, simply because of salary increase. Some of them is more like for job security as well, because right now I have quite a few students who are in the banking sector as well, who've indicated that, look, the employers have made it mandatory for them. They have to get a degree, right, for the position, for the same position as well. And for some persons, it's about starting or growing your own business as well. So you study to grow your business. For others, it might be personal achievement. Some of you, it's to gain practical experience in IT. And of course, well, naturally to enhance your employability. So those are some of the reasons we look at it. Now, for many of us, we look at studying as a cost rather than an investment. And I want to use this simple example here to show you where we're studying. Yes, it is a cost, but I want you to look at it really as an investment in yourself. And I'll use a simple example of an OJT employee. We're going to use the OJT employee because it's a standard rate that we know of, right? So for CXC, CSEC qualification, if you start as an OJT, your monthly salary will be $3,025. If you have CAPE or diploma, you'll get $4,356, an associate degree 5,445, and a bachelor's degree, you'll get 7,562. With a master's degree as an OJT, you'll get 8,712. Now, those are the OJT salary. Now, naturally, your salary is not going, as an OJT, the period of employment is typically 2 years. The intention is you will gain enough experience and then be able to go out there and find a suitable job, etc. Now, what I want to do is, using just the OJT as an example, we're going to look at the salary of an OJT employee versus someone with a bachelor's degree who's also employed as an OJT, right? So pay attention to the two salaries, the CXC salary and the CSEC salary and the bachelor's degree salary, the monthly salary. Could you tell me on average what's the roughly difference, or how much more you will earn with a bachelor's degree versus CSEC on a monthly basis? Just a rough estimate, maybe up to just at the closest 1,000 or so, or closest 100 if you wish. Any suggestions? How much more you'll earn each month with a bachelor's degree versus CSEC as an OJT? Come on, guys, a little bit of mathematical skills.
4,500 more.
Very good. About $4,500 more, right? In fact, $4,537.50 to be precise. Now, we probably never sit down and really look at it. All we see is the cost rather than the investment, right? But remember, when you study and invest in yourself, that investment ideally is to pay off for the future. You're not going to work 1 month and stop. So ideally in 1 year, how much more you would have earned in 1 year? Any estimates how much more you'll earn in 1 year? You multiply that 4,500 by 12, and it works out to roughly 54,450 more you'll earn. Not how much you will earn, but how much more you would have earned with a bachelor's degree versus CXC as an OJT. Now that alone pays off for the entire cost of your investment in studies and all of that, etc. in 1 year. But the truth is that, again, you're not going to retire after 1 year of work. Ideally, you would work for, typically people work for, how many years you think on average people work for, guys? Typically, people's working life, where they're employed, might be on average, how many years would you say? 40, 45 years or so?
Yeah, about that.
About that, thank you very much. So imagine working for $54,000 more in 1 year. After 40 years, guess how much more you're going to earn? Over $2 million more. So the thing is that when you look at that $2 million more, you imagine the house, the car, the lifestyle you would have wanted as well. Imagine your children and their children as well benefiting from that investment that you're making. So whenever you're looking at studying, don't just look at, you know, the cost only, but look at it as an investment and the fact that it will reap rewards, it will pay off for itself, and eventually earn you more and more money over the years. And naturally, the salary as your salary as with a bachelor's degree is likely to change at a much faster rate compared to your salary with a CXC qualification. So this figure is what I would call, it really is not the really an accurate figure. It's really a basic figure, and we expect it to grow much more than that. In fact, some estimates suggest it might be $4 to $6 million more you would have earned instead, right? So why study with the University of Bedfordshire? The University of Bedfordshire is not a very popular university, and the reason for that is simply because there are no teams in the Premiership division, right, from Bedfordshire. So hence the reason why it's not popular. If I said Manchester, you may say, yeah, I'm familiar with Manchester or Liverpool or Chelsea or stuff like that, right? Those places you're more familiar with because there are many football clubs and stuff in those places. But just to let you know, actually, the University of Bedfordshire, they have over 100 years of educational experience, a heritage that goes back for more than 100 years. They currently have over 20,000 students from over 120 different countries. They have 5 campuses in the UK. The more popular one is in Luton, that's their main campus. There's one in Bedford, there's Potteridge, Islesburg, and Milton Keynes. They have campuses, well, sorry, not campuses, but partners located across the world, mainly in the east of the UK. However, in 2017, CTS College became their first partner in this side, on the western side of UK. Well, not just CTS, but a few schools collectively partnered with them at the same time, and that was their first partnership on the western side of England. Okay, apart from that, they ranked in the top 6% of universities in the world, and they also won the Queen's University Award in 2013. But that's just a bit about the university, and they ranked in several different areas. However, ranking is not always the most crucial factor when choosing a program. As we'll talk about today as well, when you are going to choose also, yes, you need program that is well ranked, etc. But there are several other factors you need to consider. And we'll talk about these things shortly as well, in terms of the factors that students often look at when choosing a program. Now, what about CTS College? All right. Well, CTS College is a private educational institution. We have over 20 years of experience in the education industry. We are recognized by ACTT, and we offer a range of courses from CXC all the way to bachelor's and master's programs. We also offer a range of certification courses as well to complement your degree programs also. One of this page was what I call our bragging page. It's where we talk about some of the victories we've won. Now, one of the most popular things about CTS, if you ask a friend who've attended, etc., is our student support services. And CTS College has won several awards for student support services. In fact, the Accreditation Council previously did something called the Quiet Awards. Now, they haven't done the Quiet Awards for a few years, and that's purely because of budgetary constraint. But prior to that, the ACTT had done Quiet Awards for 6-7 years. They did Quiet Awards for. And in those 7 years, CTS College won six Student Support Services Award, right? We won 3 awards for excellence in established quality management system and 2 for excellence in teaching and learning. In fact, we've won more Quiet Awards than any other school in the country. Now, that's a real big thing for us, because at the end of it, we were a small institution comparing against the giants of UE, UTT, COSTAT, and all of those other organizations, and winning these awards ahead of them meant something big for us as well. Now, apart from those, CTS College has also won numerous academic awards as well. In fact, we've won over 96 AB World Prizes, which is given to the top student in each unit. We've won 96 World Prizes since 2007. In fact, in the last 5 years, CTS College has won more World Prizes in Trinidad than any other school in the last 5 years. And we currently hold the world record for the most number of AB World Prizes in one exam session. We won a whooping 13 World Prizes 2 years ago in one session. We also won 47 university awards with the University of Hertfordshire, and we won awards with ABMA as well. So those are a bit of our award-winning part, and part of that is because of a combination of the outstanding student support services, wonderful lecturers, and amazing students like yourself also. So those are different things that really help in terms of churning out really good results as well, okay? Now, in terms of our experience with delivering a bachelor's degree in IT, our first bachelor's degree started 14 years ago. In fact, it was 2006, so it's going in 15 years, right? We started with the University of Hertfordshire, BSc in Information Technology and a BSc in Computer Science. And we've been offering that, as I said, over 14 years we've had lecturing in that program. the average pass rate was over 85%, right? We've had over 2,000 applicants, over 1,700 students graduating with over 408. Well, actually that number just topped 500 with first class honors. So it's really a wonderful experience with us delivering in the program. And we switched from the University of Hertfordshire to University of Bedfordshire. But please note, in terms of the switch, it was purely because we were looking for a suitable pricing, because we wanted to offer not just the final year, but the full all 3 years of the degree program. And with the University of Hertfordshire, the pricing was way too high. And even though we tried negotiating for a while, after a year, we still couldn't get it to a decent price. And we know that price is one of the key things for you guys. I'm sure that you guys are looking for a good price as opposed to a high price, right? And for that reason, we had to part ways with the University of Hertfordshire purely because the pricing they were offering was way too high for us to compete in the local market. So we started looking at other programs, and that's how we ended up with University of Bedfordshire. But we deliberately chose University of Bedfordshire, and I'll explain to you some of the things we look for when choosing a new partner as well. So these are some of the things we looked at when choosing the BSc program, and how and why we ended up working with the University of Bedfordshire. So for many students, if I were to ask them, what are some of the things you want in the program? What are some of the things you look for when choosing a BSc program? These are some of the things students would say. One is they want a program that's fully accredited. And right now I have a lot of students who also migrating to Canada or the US, mainly Canada, and they want a program that's transportable, a qualification that is easily accepted in the US, UK, Canada, or anywhere else they may choose to travel, even in the other CARICOM islands as well, right? So based on that, this program is ideal because it is accepted. We have students already in Canada and in the US as well who would have used these qualifications. Next, many students indicated, look, this is pre-COVID as well. Look, I have to travel sometimes. I may not always be in the country and I need to submit my assignment. I don't want to miss any tests or anything like that. So they wanted a program that they could access all the materials online and as well as submit assignments online. So one of the features of the program is globally accessible. No matter where you are in the world, you could do this program. And right now, even we are delivering our teaching online as well. So apart from all the materials available online, and the university has an online environment with all the materials as well. And we also have another online environment. So both us and the university have this online environment that you use. The university's environment is where you could get their lecture notes and submit your assignments, etc. And in our environment, you'll get the recording of your weekly classes, our lecture notes, which is sometimes their lecture notes. Sometimes we totally transform the lecture notes into something we believe is more easy to digest for the students, etc. Right? So you'll get all of those, plus whatever resources we could get in soft copy, we make it available to you via our link as well. So the program is easily accessible. Next, we look for a program that is practical or work applied. And a practical program is one where we listen out to the employers. And employers were saying, look, they're fed up of having students, or talking to employers, they felt that too often degree students are coming out and they only know theory and they don't know how to apply the theory. They can't add value to the workplace. So we looked for a program that was extremely practical, that was problem solving. So throughout the entire journey, you're solving real life problems. And therefore, we look for a program that you're required to solve. As I say, we're solving real life problem. It's more assignment driven as well, rather than focus on regurgitating theories, etc., but more about solving problems. And that's one of the things we look for. And that's one of the features of this program. Apart from that, many of you wish you could get your qualification in the snap of a finger. You would like to get your qualification by tomorrow if you could. And therefore we were looking for programs where one of the competitive advantages we have is the program is the fastest program to complete your degree in Trinidad. And with the University of Bedfordshire, we were able to deliver a BSc program in 2 years. And I'll explain to you how we were able to do that as well. So that's where the program is accelerated. And of course, everyone wants an affordable program. It must fit your pocket as well. So we worked with the university because they had the best pricing also. So when we looked at these major things here, the University of Bedfordshire simply checked all the boxes more than anybody else, any of the other programs we had considered. And that's why. In terms of accreditation, the university is accredited by QA in the UK, right? As well as ACTT in Trinidad. And I'm sure many of you recognize ACTT. Now, as part of the quality process, what the university does, all marketing and promotion that we do must be approved by them. All admissions, meaning when you apply, you are not accepted by CTS, you're accepted by the university. All right. And so once they accept you, then we accept you, sort of thing, right? So all admissions are approved by the university. All our lecturers are approved by the university. All teaching materials come from them, but we are allowed to tailor it. All assessments are set by them and marked by them. They also do annual audits to ensure we do what they tell us to do as well. And of course, they do continuous feedback and review to ensure that they are delivering on their promises as well. So that's a bit about the quality side of it. One of the other things you said is that the program is globally accessible. And in terms of globally accessible, I already indicated that there are students from all over the world enroll in these programs. And what the university has done, they've created an online learning environment called Brio, which is available 24/7 from anywhere in the world that you can access. So Brio is basically an online learning environment that you can access throughout. And plus what we're currently using, we're using like Share Drive on Google, which all students have access to, where you could get all your lecture notes, recordings, etc. of all your classes, so that you always have access to all the information as well. The other thing is that we said that the program must be practical. And in terms of practical, it must solve real life IT challenges. It must be hands-on, solving business problems as well. And that is what this program does. So throughout the program, you will be learning by solving problems. The other thing too is the program is accelerated. So if you start at level 4, which is year 1, you could complete this entire program in simply 2 years. And if you start, if you're just coming out with just CXC qualification, you just wrote CXC, right? And you have no work experience, then you could start the bridging program, which is just 4 months. And therefore, if you're starting from the bridging program, it will be 2 years, 4 months there, right? So that's a bit of the accelerated. I will share with you as well why this program is accelerated. How come we're able to deliver this program in 2 years versus 3 years, which is what it takes on campus at the university. So we'll get into that shortly as well. All right. Next, we said the program is an affordable investment, and in affordable, we'll talk about our pricing, as well as we also have arrangement with GMMB to assist in getting student loans, etc. Okay. Now let's look at how the program is structured. And when you look at how the program is structured, you'll see how it can fit into your busy life as well. Now, each level consists of 4 units. So level 4, which is year 1, consists of 4 units. Level 5, which is also known as year 2, consists of 4 units. Level 6, known as year 3, also consists of 4 units. Now, just a few things. 1 unit with the university often comprises of multiple things. So for example, let's say you're doing computer system structure, which is 1 unit. Within that module, you'll be doing databases and you're doing networking. So it's almost 2 separate courses you're doing in one. So the advantage of having fewer courses or fewer units is that your tuition fees are lower because you pay, you pay tuition per unit or per subject. A unit and a subject is the same thing, right? So you're paying tuition per unit. So the fewer units you have, the less you pay. And what the university did, simply in terms of each unit, it may consist of multiple modules, if you want to look at it like that. So 1 unit consists of 2 different areas, subject areas. Now, in terms of the 4 units, you do 2 units per semester. So we'll get into those shortly. So you're doing 2 units 1 semester and 2 units in the next semester. So you're finishing level 4 in 2 semesters. You're finishing level 5 in 2 semesters. You're finishing level 6 in 2 semesters because you're doing 2 and 2. Now you cannot do more than 2 units in a semester because that's mandated by the university. There's a max number of subjects you can do per semester. A semester runs for 4 months. So roughly in 8 months, you're finishing year 1, 8 months, you're finishing year 2, and 8 months, you're finishing year 3. So 8 plus 8 plus 8, that's 3, it's 24 months, which is 2 years. So in 2 years, you're finishing your degree. Now, what are the entry requirements? So I'll go through the entry requirements right here as well. For level 4, which is year 1, you can enroll directly if you have A levels. But if you don't have A levels, not a problem. If you have just general work experience, you can get in. Once you have 2 or more years of general work experience, now I have 3 or plus years here, but we found that even if you had 2 or more years, you're typically accepted by the university, right? It doesn't matter what your work experience is in, whether or not you are clerical, you're not IT related. It doesn't have to be IT related. Once you have work experience, you can even start at level 4, which is year 1. Now, if you have IT experience or you have IT certificates, you could also start at year 1 as well, right? Okay. For year 2 now, you could enroll directly into year 2, or you could enroll into year 2 after passing year 1. Now, to enroll into year 2, you could get in there if you have 2 or more years of IT work experience and you have IT certifications as well. You can get directly into year 2 with a combination of those. And in terms of year 3, which is the final year of the degree, you could get in by completing year 2, or you could get in if you have completed a level 5 IT diploma, such as from the UTT diploma, or you could get in with 6 years IT work experience, and with IT certs. If you have six or more years IT experience and you have IT certs, you could get in into the final year. Plus, if you've done like COSTAT associate degree in IT, Roytech associate degree, as to say UTT diploma, or ABME level 5 diploma, or NCC level 5 diploma, or BTech, HND, any of those you could get into level 6 as well, right? So there are many different routes that you could use to get into level 6. And each level takes 8 months to complete, and that's how you could complete the program in 3 years. Now, based on this here, who should therefore start the bridging program? So who is the bridging program for them? So the bridging program was created for anyone who doesn't get accepted into level 4 or 5 or 6, right? Well, ideally, if you don't get into level 4, you should start the bridging program. Now, the people who usually don't get into level 4 would be the following, right? With few exceptions. So the bridging program is if, let's say you just wrote CXU, or you don't have any qualifications and work experience, so you haven't worked, you don't have any qualifications, then maybe the bridging level is where you'll be best started. If you've just written CSEC, ideally you could start the bridging program as well. Whether you have results or you don't have results, you could start the bridging program. So it doesn't matter what you have or you don't have, anyone could start the bridging program. Okay, so ideally it's a persons who don't have work experience, or persons who've just written CSEC, so you're like 16 or 17 years old, you just wrote CSEC. The bridging program is the ideal place to start. It runs for just 4 months, and it's only 1 unit you're doing in the bridging program. It runs for 4 months, and on completion of the bridging program, you start level 4. Okay, so based on that, if you start from the bridging program, you could complete this program in 2 years, 4 months. So this is basically a diagram showing the pathway to completion from the bridging all the way to year 3, right? But as I said, the bulk of students ideally start at level 4, and some students start directly into level 5, and some start directly into level 6 as well, okay? Now, what typically is covered in each of the level? So in year 1, you normally focus on more introductory skills in computing. So you look at introduction to software, hardware, how computers are built, how computers work. You will work with databases. You'll have access to Cisco Academy, where you learn networking, and you'll write a Cisco-based exam, and you'll also get a Cisco certification if you pass that exam. You'll learn about SQL. You'll also learn about Java, Python, Microsoft Access, Oracle. Those are some of the different software you'll work with. Excuse. Whereas in level 5, you'll be developing applications using Oracle Application Express. You'll also use PHP again in level 5 also. And you'll also learn more on, you'll be learning more about software development, as well as database and user experience, designing useful user interfaces as well. And in the final year, you'll learn more on project management, and you'll have to build an application as well for your final project. So you'd learn quite a bit of coding, but at the same time, I want to make it clear, as much as you're learning coding and all of those, right? The program is not coding based only. Yes, you will learn sufficient amount of coding in each of the years, but at the same time, you're learning on all the different fields in IT. So you're learning about databases, you're learning about networking, you're learning about user experience, developing user interfaces, IT project management. You're looking at IT in the industry, and a series of different areas as well within information technology. All right, these are the different units in each level. So notice the bridging level has just one unit only with 30 credits, and each of the other levels, level 4, level 5, level 6, they have 4 units each with 30 credits. So each level you get 120 credits. Okay, and all units are core. Now, how can I fit this bachelor's into my busy lifestyle? Well, there are 3 intake periods, one in February, one in June, one in October. Now, between me and you, The university calls it the February intake, but often classes start in January rather than February, right? But they call it the February intake. There's also a June intake, and sometimes class start in May. And there's the October intake, and sometimes class start in September rather than October. But those are just the names that they use for the intake. So you have 3 intake periods. So if you miss one, you start in the other one, okay? So the good news is that in 4 months' time, another intake is starting. Apart from that, now, how is each unit delivered? Each unit is delivered by a 2-hour class. So you have a 2-hour class for each unit. So if you're doing the bridging program, you just have 1 2-hour class for the week. If you're doing level 4 or level 5 or level 6, ideally you just have, well, you're doing 2 units at a time. You have 2 2-hour classes, which is 4 hours you're committing to studying of classes for the week, not the studying, but the classes for the week. Now, the semester usually runs for around 13 to 15 weeks or so, because the 15 weeks is if there's a break injected into it, like an Easter break or Christmas break, etc. So typically it's 12 teaching weeks, however, right? Now, at the end of the semester, there's also a 2-week break typically before you start the next semester. Now, just a note also, I did mention that for each subject, you have a 2-hour class for each subject. And those classes are typically on a Saturday, but I want to note the following. If you have an assignment due or students need additional support, the truth is that you would have additional classes. If you have an assignment due and you need help, we offer tutorials as well. And those tutorials may be, so I can't guarantee, those are not planned before. That's based on an assignment and we realize, hey, student needs some additional help. We arrange those classes. So for example, in level 5, students have an assignment due on the 15th and they have to build an application using Oracle Application Express. A couple of students indicated they need some help with it. So what we did, we arranged a tutorial on someone to teach them Oracle Application Express as well. So these are additional support classes. They are no additional cost to you, but those are additional classes that's not been part of the regular scheduled classes, right? So you may have those, but it's purely to support you in terms of your success. And that's part of our student support system as well, that we do these additional classes to help you to ensure that you are you have all the resources and all the tools you need in order to succeed, okay? Now, this is a typical timetable. There's a subtle change to the timetable, well, for level 6. So the undergraduate programming class, I've moved it to Wednesday, right? But only students in level 6 who's undertaking the undergraduate project will have that class there, all right? But other than that, your classes are typically on Saturdays, 2 classes on a Saturday, all right? So this is what your timetable looks like, but there's a subtle change to this, which I will update shortly. All right, now, how will you be assessed during the program? So you assess via assignments, but there are different types of assignments. So some of these will be coursework based, where, for example, you give an assignment that is due in 4 weeks time or 6 weeks time. So that's coursework based. Some of these may be group and some may be individual projects, right? But even in group project, each of you may be marked individually within the group project because you will marked on your individual contribution. And of course, you have a lot of individual assignments. There are times you may have to develop a portfolio. What a portfolio is that like every 2 weeks, you have to do a small assignment and you combine those small assignments to submit as one portfolio. So a portfolio is simply a compilation of a series of smaller set of work that you put together and submit. You also have to submit essays. You may have to submit an essay. That's more at level 4.
Stop it. Hey.
You may have presentations and you also have, just 1 second. I'll just mute. My apologies.
Boy, listen.
All right. Yep. So based on this, you have individual assignments as well. So you have presentations that you may need to do. Now, I love the presentation and I'll tell you why I like the presentations. The presentation is where you justify your work. So in terms of the presentation, groups as well as individuals may have to do a presentation. It's a video presentation that you record. So you may record it using Zoom itself and you're submitting it. And part of it is you're justifying your choices and why you did what you did. Now, the reason why, and sometimes the presentation may be a live presentation where it's online and the university may ask you questions based on the work you would have done as well. But the reason I enjoy those presentations is because a lot of times when you have students have to represent themselves when they go to an interview or to the job, they're often very meek, very shy, and they really lack confidence. These presentations really help to develop confidence, the ability to speak, to defend what you've done, etc. And these are useful skills, especially for employability. In some instances, you may have tests or exams, as we call them, right? So the university assesses you via a range of different assessment methods rather than just one type only. Apart from that as well, we already covered a bit of what you're covering in each of the different levels as well. Now, what about passing the program? In order to pass a unit, you must pass your total mark in all the assignment must be 40 or more. So the pass mark is 40. So once your total mark in overall is 40 or more, you've passed the unit. If you get less than 40, then there's something called a referral that you'll get to do. So once you get less than 40, you'll get a referral. But once you score 40 or more, you would have passed the unit. Now, if you fail a unit, let's talk what happens. So if you fail the unit, then you will be given a referral. A referral is a free chance to redo an assignment. They will give you a referral assignment. And if you pass that referral assignment, you pass the unit without having to repeat or pay to repeat the unit, right? But if you fail the referral, then you have to repay the university and CTS to repeat the module, okay? So you have to retake the entire unit again. Now, the good news is we don't really have fails, but we have persons we have a few instances of persons failing, but they would have done the referral and passed the referral. But the pass rate in the program is extremely high. A lot of subjects have 100% pass rate overall, and a few of them, you might have 1 or 2 students only in a class of 30-something getting a referral assignment, okay? Often the students who get referral assignments are students who did not submit assignment, right? An assignment or 2, okay? Now, at the end, when you graduate, what could you graduate with? Well, you could graduate with a first class honors, upper second honors, lower second or third class honors. And to determine the class of degree, it's based on your credits or your grades. Now, if you're enrolling directly in the final year, then what they do, they take your best 3 marks, but they must take the undergraduate project. So it's the undergraduate project plus your 2 other best marks. They find the average of those 3 marks, and if the average is 70 or more, you get first class honors. If it's in the 60s, you get upper second. If it's in the 50s, you get lower second. And if it's in the 40s, you get third class honors. Now, what if you started directly at from either bridging level 4 or level 5? Now, if you started at a lower level, then your grade is based on your grades from year 2 and year 3. So if you've started from year 2 or year 1, your grades will be based on the grades from year 2 and year 3. Now, the grades in year 3 must include the project, the undergraduate project, and your other 2 best subjects. And the grades from year 2 is your 3 best marks out of the 4, right? And what they do, your final year marks is worth twice as your year 2 marks. So your final year marks is double the weight versus your year 2 mark. And once again, they get the average, 70 or more, you get first class honors, etc. Okay? Now, so that's a bit about the different qualifications you could graduate with. Now, in terms of what support is available, support is available both at CTS and online. Now, in terms of our support would have started when you would have probably applied for the information session, or you sent an email to us. We would have started our support through emailing you. We conduct this information session as well as part of our support, because we believe that, look, even though you may have the funds available to study, not everyone is ready to study as well, because the last thing we want you to do is start the program and then you just don't submit anything because you're so busy with your work and all of that that you really don't have time to fit the program into your busy lifestyle, right? Or you're probably not focused as well. It's harder to support a student who is not focused and not engaged than someone who is focused. And we spend more time trying to get them and get the support, etc., especially when they're not making themselves available to it. So the information session really is to help you to understand really the requirements of the program a bit, so that when you make a decision, you're making a decision with, you know fully well that you're committing to, as opposed to, yeah, I'm going to do this, whatever, and you're just saying that you're going to do it, but you're really not committing the time and effort, etc., to it, okay? And even in terms of the resources, because many students start and they don't pay at all, and it's almost as though they're not aware what the costs are. So we want you to be aware what the cost, what is required from you as well, so that when you decide to start, you know exactly what you're committing to. The other thing as well is, like, even your application. When you submit your application, we take your application, we review it, ensure it's complete, send it to the university. If it's not complete, we update you, tell you what we still need, etc. Once you get accepted, we provide you the feedback along with the offer letters and the stuff that you need to sign off. Once you submit it to us, we send it to the university. We will update you on when classes are starting and timetable, etc. Right? When classes have started, we'll send you reminders about classes and the links to classes, etc. closer to them. We provide you with access to all the resources. When you have assignments due, we assist you in terms of getting with additional support. If the classes are simply not enough, we arrange additional support for you and that sort of thing. So, and those are some of the things we do to support you so that throughout the whole journey, you have all the things you need. If you need a letter or whatever, you email us, we arrange the letter for you, we send it to you as well. So the whole thing is to make this hassle-free for you guys. Your commitment is really to study, attend classes and study and of course pay fees, etc. So those are the part from your side. What we also do, after you've been accepted and before you actually start classes, we also have induction. And at that induction, is very important all of you attend the induction, because at the induction, we go through in terms of the programs, in terms of some of the requirement. We also do Harvard referencing, which is crucial to being a student of any university or any student of study. You need to understand referencing, and we are using Harvard referencing for the program. So we go through all of that using our induction session. So our induction is on the 23rd. We have 2 induction sessions, one on the 23rd and one on the Wednesday after that, which I think is the 27th or so. So we have 2 induction sessions, not the same thing. One is covering one set of stuff and the other one is covering something different. All right. So those are some of the different support you have. Plus you have access to BRIO, the university online learning environment. You'll have access to journals, articles, and stuff like that as well. So you have access to all these different resources to help you throughout your journey in the program as well. Okay, as I said, we also have induction before you start classes. So the induction will include academic writing workshop, study tips and skills, referencing guidelines and stuff like that. In terms of our lecturers now, it's really important that you get the right support. So in terms of our lecturers, we look for lecturers who have a lot of industry experience, because the whole idea is that the program is practical and we want persons who are not so much academics, but more people who are practitioners, who have industry experience, right? So our lecturers are typically people working in the IT industry as well, who can also teach as well, okay? So it's a bit of they practice what they teach, right? So if they teach, let's say programming, they also do that as part of their job sort of thing, okay? Now, also too, as a student, you have a voice, and CTS College has a very much open door policy where you could liaise with any one of us. You want to provide feedback, I give you my cell number. The start of the slide, you have my cell number. You could reach me at any time. You have access to your program manager as well. You could reach us anytime. And apart from that, you have your access to your lecturers as well. Now, please note, while you'll have my phone number and the program manager's phone number, not every lecturer give out their phone number, but you will have access to their email, etc. Right? But what we've done, we also created WhatsApp group, and the lecturers are part of that. So once the lecturer is there, you would have access to them via phone as well. So the lecturers are normally part of the WhatsApp group, and the WhatsApp group is really creating a system of support where even students support each other as well, right? And that is what we try to create, a level of camaraderie as well. And given the fact that because everything is online, you're not seeing each other, the WhatsApp group, etc., is a very useful way of getting students to interact, share with each other. Like, for example, in one of the WhatsApp group this morning, a student was having a problem and another student solved that same problem and was able to share what he did with the other student, etc. And that create a whole conversational topic of sharing and helping each other as well. It's not doing each other's work, but the fact is that it's helping each other through this, because we're all in this thing together as well, okay? Now, in terms of the program, what resources would you need to undertake this program? Because the classes are online, you would need access to a laptop or computer or some device that you can use. But also too, because you may have to install programs in it, a phone would not be sufficient. A phone might be useful to attend a Zoom class, but it may not be sufficient to do your assignments, etc. So you may require a device to use as well. If you don't have a device, you could always come into the college and use a device at the college, right? So you could use device at the college for the online class. If you're unable to, you come in and we have the lab, you could come in and attend your classes there or do your work from there if you wish, right? But bear in mind now that because of COVID, our office hours, we open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on evenings. We used to open from 8 to 8, a 12-hour period. But because of COVID and all of that, and the restriction on number of persons in office, we reduce our hours from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Saturdays, we open from 8 to 4. All right. So a good internet access is required for you to attend classes. So whether you're doing your classes at home or at an internet cafe or maybe one of those like coffee shops, etc., a good internet access is required as well. And of course, when you finish, where can you graduate? Well, you could graduate at the university in the UK, as well as you could graduate in Trinidad. And our graduation is usually held at the Hyatt Regency. So you have two options and you could attend both of them. Of course, if you choose to go to England, you'll have to do so at your own cost, right? The university wouldn't pay for you to attend the graduation ceremony, but you can attend the graduation ceremony because you are a student of the University of Hertfordshire as well, University of Bedfordshire as well. Now, in terms of how do I qualify, this is the entry requirements, but I did cover the entry requirements early on. So I would skip through these here because we would have covered the entry requirements previously in the slides as well. Now, in terms of applying now, how can I apply? And in order to apply, you should complete the application form. So at the end of today's session, we will email you the application form. If for any reason you did not get the application form, please email us. You could send an email to study@ctscollege.com indicating you need the application form for the BSc program, right? Alternatively, we will email it again to you. Ideally, you should have gotten that form before as well if you had emailed us about the program too. But Stefan, in the group chat, Stefan would be requesting you to provide him your email address, phone number, and your name so that he can ensure that you get these emails. So kindly ensure that you email you in the chat, you put your email address, please, so that we can have those available, so that we could provide it provide those to the email afterwards to you because we have the correct email address. Okay. Now, in terms of applying, what I need from you, you need to complete the application form. Kindly include a copy of your resume and your ID, right? The ID could be a national ID or passport or driver's permit, anyone that has not expired. It must be a picture ID, right? Now, if you're married and your name is, the name on the application form is not the same as your name on the ID, then if you could provide anything to support your change of name, like maybe a marriage certificate or so, and that's only if the name on the application form is different from the name on the ID. Okay, because the university has to go with the name on the ID unless you provide like a marriage certificate, etc., that suggests there's a change of name. Okay, apart from that, if you have copies, I'd like to get copies, especially for those who are starting at a higher level. If you could maybe get copies of your IT certificate. Now you're scanning all of these, or you could take pictures, good pictures on WhatsApp, on your phone. Now they are scanning software you could download on your phone as well. Those take better quality pictures than just taking a natural picture, right? They do better scans of your documents than the pictures do. So copies of your IT certification, if you've completed your diploma or associate degree and you have your certificate or you have a copy of your transcript, those may be helpful. Now, please note, if you started an IT program and you did not complete it, still send us the results because those things are helpful in getting you to start at a higher level, right? So even though you may have, let's say you started UV and you only did year 1 or part of year 2, send us your incomplete results because those things are really helpful because you would have done IT courses before. So it's helpful in getting you access at a higher level or to start a higher level as well. Okay. If you're using work experience, ideally a letter from your employer confirming your job title. We're not interested in your salary, but your job title as an IT position is helpful as well. Okay. So the completed application form, and the application form requires you to sign it. Now, if you are not able to sign it, you could simply take a picture of your signature and send it. Or if your signature is in the ID that you're sending, then we could extract it from there and put it in the application form. Okay, so we can help you with some of those because we understand, look, you may not be going to work in the office or working from home, or you're trying to use the resources available. So you don't need to print and fill out the application form. You could type it in, if you can, the soft copy, and you could send us a copy of his signature. You could take a picture of his signature and include it as well. And if using work experience, ideally a job letter is helpful. If you have other courses that you did that you're using that to get in, please submit those. It will be helpful for us as well to get you in at the highest level that you want to get into. So what usually happens after you apply? So when you submit the application to us with the supporting documents, we review it. If it's not complete, we inform you. But if it is complete, we send it to the university for processing. It may take maybe a couple of weeks to process, Then what we get back from the university is an offer letter, right, which we will send to you. We send you the offer letter and another document called the TNE registration form, which you need to complete. You complete those, you send it back to us. And once you send it to us now, if you're not starting, you could complete the offer letter indicating that you're not starting. But if you are starting, you have to, on the offer letter, you have to tick the box that says I am starting, and you sign it as well. You submit those to us, we submit it to the university. Now, once you have indicated you're starting as indicated in the documents, then we will send you further details now on the class dates, how to register with CTS, how to pay fees and stuff like those, right? And then closer to the actual class start date, we will actually send you the links to the classes, etc. Right? Okay, so that's a bit of how it is done. Now, prior to class as well, once you submit the offer letter, etc., and we send it to the university will register you on their side, and they will give you access to Brio, which is the online environment from the university, right? So you'll have access to Brio. On CTS, you'll have access to IBIS-Link, which is our registration system, and you'll also have access to the shared drive, where we store all our information as well. Good. Okay, next, costing. So how much will this program cost? In terms of cost, what I've done here is I've shared with you the cost for each level. So in terms of level, the bridging program, it's one unit only. The registration fee is $500. The tuition fee is $2,000, and the university fee is £150. In level 4 now, level 4 has 4 units. You're paying $500 per semester to register, and the tuition fee is $2,000 per subject, and you're doing 4 subjects. So the cost of the 4 subjects would be $8,000 there, and the university fees is £150 per subject by 4, which is £600. If you're starting at level 5, or eventually when you get to level 5, it's $500 per semester to register. You're doing 4 subjects. The total cost of the 4 subjects is $2,250 per subject by 4, which is $9,000, and the university fees is £150 by 4, which is £600. The level 6 now is $500 per semester to register, 2 semesters as well. You're paying $2,500 per subject, and you're doing 4 subjects, so that's $10,000 for tuition. And of course, the university fees now is $375 by 4, which is £1,500. Now, this is your overall cost for the level. You don't have to pay that up front. We have different payment options as well. So what I want to do for you, I want to show you, if you pay now, you could pay per semester, or you can pay monthly. So let's look at some of the payment plans that are available. So you could pay per semester. Now, if you're paying for each semester, remember you're doing, except for the bridging level, you're doing 2 subjects each semester, right? So you're doing 2 subjects per semester. Just excuse me for 1 second, please. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so if you're doing 2 subjects per semester, then other than the bridging program where you're doing only 1 subject, for 2 subjects per semester, it's $500 to register. You're paying 2,000 by 2, which is $4,000, and £150 by 2, which is £300. So that's your semester fees. Notice the difference with this slide versus the previous slide. This slide tells you what fee you're paying per semester, right? So you're paying roughly $500 to register, 4,000 for tuition, and £300 to the university. So that's your fee for the semester for level 4. And then in the next semester, it will be the same as well. For level 5, it's shown as well, $500 to register, 4,500 tuition, and £300 to the university fee in semester 1. And then in your next semester, you pay the same as well. And for level 6, $500 to register, 5,000 for tuition by, well, 2,500 by 2, which is 5,000 for tuition, and £750. Now, we also have a monthly payment option. So if you want, you pay this at the start of the semester, or you could pay, the other option is you could pay per month. Now, if you're paying monthly, this is what your monthly fee is. Now, the monthly fee applies to the tuition. So for example, in the bridging program, it's $2,000. You could pay $500 per month for 4 months. For level 4, you could pay $500 per subject per month. So if you're doing 2 subjects in level 4, so it's $500 per subject per month. So it's 2 subjects, so that's $1,000 per month for tuition. Additionally, For level 5, it's $562.50 per month per subject. So you're doing 2 subjects, so it's $562.50 by 2 per month. And in level 6, it's $625 per subject per month that you're paying, right? The other fees would be you pay upfront $500 to register, and the university fees you pay at the start of the semester. So you can pay $150 in month 1 and $150 in month 2. For the year 2 as well, you pay $150 in month 1 and $150 in month 2. And for level 6, you pay $375 in the first month and $375 in the second month. Now, the reason why we ask for the university fees to be paid earlier, simply because we have to pay the university that fee. And so they will charge us that fee and we have to pay it to the university. Hence the reason why we request it up front. Now, just a thing to note, the registration and tuition fee, you could pay us with credit card, you could pay us with cash, you could pay us with links, etc. You could pay it online using our FCB account, or you could come into the office and make the payment. You could even pay via check. The university fee, however, is paid to CTS College as well, because what the university does, we pay the university for all the students, but the student pays us. So what the university simply indicated, to ease the number of transactions to them, it's easier for them to invoice us for all the students, and we pay them, and you pay us their fees. So you pay us and we pay them. So what we do, what we do for the pounds now, because there's a challenge with foreign exchange for us as an institution, because while you may have to pay 150 or 300 pounds, right, we have to pay the university sometimes 60 to 80,000 pounds. So it's really tough for us to get the pounds. So what the bank advises us to do is simply open a pound account at the bank, which we did, and let the students pay us in pounds. So for the university fee, you're required to pay those to CTS College, but you're paying it in pounds, right? So the university fees are paid in pounds to CTS College. So you're not paying that in TT dollars, but you're paying that in pounds. How do you get the pounds? You could go to your bank and they could do a bank draft, or you can do a wire transfer to us, etc. Now, please note, if you're doing a wire transfer, I want you to know the following. With a wire transfer, it has to go through an intermediary bank, and the intermediary bank deducts charges as well. So let's say you want to pay us 150 pounds. If you go to your bank and tell them, send 150 pounds to CTS, what we get might be 130 pounds because the intermediary bank deducts 20 pounds or so. So you would have to liaise with your bank to find out what are those charges, so that you could include those charges in your fees as well, because we could only update your account with what shows up on our account, right? So if you're doing wire transfer, please know that the intermediary bank sometimes deduct funds from the transfer. So what we get is less than what you would have sent. So you need to liaise with your bank to find out about those, okay? So, but it's an option of paying as well. Now we do have a special offer. And what the special offer is, applicants can get up to $1,000 off each level. So if you're starting at level 4, that's $3,000 off in total, 1,000 off level 1, 1,000 off level 4, level 5, and level 6, right? But how do you qualify for the special offer? To qualify for the special offer, which works out to 250 off every unit. So it's 250 off every unit you get. If you pay your tuition fee before the start date of the semester, you'll get that special offer off. So you could get up to $1,000 off per level, and which is $250 per unit. And to do that, you must submit and complete your application form by Monday, right? Now, if you're missing documents, it's not a big issue. We could work with you as well if documents are missing, but we need to get your stuff by Monday. And you need to pay your fees by the 23rd of January, which is the induction date, which is officially our start date of the semester. So your tuition and university fees must be paid in full by the 23rd to get that. So once you pay your fees in full before classes start by the induction date, then you can get the discount of the subjects. Okay. So you must complete and submit the application form by the 11th of January. Where do you send it to? Note the email address, right? Please send your application to study@ctscollege.com. All stuff, whenever you're corresponding to us, you can use study@ctscollege.com to ensure that you get the fastest response. Okay? Did you all get that email address, right? Study@ctscollege.com. You submit your docs. So when do you start? The semester starts 23rd of January with orientation, and the first teaching class starts on the 30th of January. Okay? Any questions or anything like that you guys have? Guys, come on, questions, comments, anything you'd like to ask?
So that was very detailed, very informative. I'd just like to say if I had any reservations of joining your institution, they have all been quelled. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much as well. As I said, the intent is to ensure that you have all the information you need so that you're making a right choice about starting. We're not about just getting people to enroll. We want to make sure that people enroll when they are ready to do so as well. Okay. Of course, some people may need a little push, etc., in that direction, but you have all the information there. Feel free again to ask any questions or any other thing that you guys may have, because I do want to answer all your questions as well before we get started. All right, before you start the program. So any questions you guys may have as well?
I don't have a question, but I just have a comment for the fellow prospective students. I have completed the MBA at the University of Bedfordshire through CTS, and I can tell you that their support system is very, very good. The BRIO system is quite user-friendly, actually. Additionally, I also applied to migrate to Canada, and the UOB degree is fully verified by Canadian government and is applicable as a master's level. So I assume the same thing will hold for the BSc. Just in case any of you all are wondering about that, I can confirm that for you all.
Thank you so much for that, Dennis. That really means a lot as well, because getting students testimonials and an honest testimonial, please note, we didn't request that testimonial. Dennis wasn't paid for any of those as well. That's his own opinion, and I appreciate it as well. And it's his own candid opinion, and I value those kind of comments and feedback as well. Anybody else with any questions, comments, or any of those also? Guys, if there are no further questions, what I'll be doing now, the session is recorded, and the recording will be made available on YouTube, and I'll send you the link to the recording a bit later today, because it takes a little while for the video to be converted and uploaded as well. And you'll get the recording from the session. We'll also send you.
Excuse Rav.
Yes.
Don't mean to cut you, sorry. In the chat, we had a question from Mandisa. She just wanted to know if the program is GATE approved.
Oh no, just to update you on GATE funding actually has stopped for all private institutions in 2017 because of the economy and the declining economy, and because of the falling oil price. The government had to reduce the national expenditure. So what they did was they removed GATE funding from all the private institutions, which was about 53 institutions at the time. And therefore, the only place that you really get GATE funding now are the what we call the public institutions, right, which would be UE, UTT, etc. But even GATE funding also take further. They started clamping down a bit more now, so they have the further changes to GATE funding also. So, but the answer is no, GATE funding is no longer available to any of the private institutions or any international program as well. GATE funding has been removed since 2017. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have one more question, Ravi.
So
how long has CTS been doing this particular degree with
Bedford? We started in February 2020. So we've had this is our 4th semester, right? So this is our 4th semester so far. And after 2 semesters, we had our first group of students completing the program. I think we have about 15 students from the first batch who've completed the program, all right? And then we have another group who's finishing submitting their last assignment in a couple of time. So we'll have 2 groups who would have finished in things. So already after 8 months, we had a group finishing, and then because they started directly into level 6 of the program. But we started in February, the first week of February last year, 2020, with the University of Bedfordshire.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Damian?
Yeah, sorry. I completed my associate degree some years back. And if I choose to start the course.
Right. So your associate degree is in IT or related discipline? Damian, in your associate degree, is it from like COSTAT or one of those, or Roytech? If it is, then you could start directly into level 6 of the program. That's the question, right?
No, my computer froze up there just now.
Oh, sorry.
Right. Yeah, what I'm saying, I did information system design, and I got I have an associate degree in that.
Right. If you have that associate degree, you could start at level 6 if that's what you're asking. The question where
Right.
yeah, you start directly into level 6, and you have 8 months. You should be finishing the program.
Okay.
In terms of the typical jobs that graduates get when they've completed the program, they're most IT related jobs. So for example, students are employed in a range of different areas. So for example, you could get jobs in database design, database administration, programming, application development, mobile app development, etc. Right? So there are a range of different jobs that students could qualify. In fact, to be quite honest, almost most of the IT jobs that are out there, right, particularly the entry-level jobs, right, the requirement is a bachelor's degree in IT. And ideally the company, once you have a bachelor's degree in IT computing or any related discipline, and you get accepted, the company that generally will do some form of training and development to get you ready for the job itself, right? So, but typical entry-level jobs in IT, you would qualify for, as well as some senior jobs. Quite a lot of students have work experience, and with the IT degree, they're able to get more senior positions as well within the organization. But jobs typically in networking, database development, application development, programming, etc. are typical jobs students qualify for. All right. If there are no further questions, then what we'll do, we'll end the session at this point. And again, I'm encouraging you guys to complete the survey if you don't mind. The survey is to help us to understand how you found out about CTS, etc. What platform you would have used, whether it's social media, newspaper, radio, etc., because it helps to direct and focus our advertising. And also we'll be sending out an email to you guys with the recording from the session along with the application form, etc. So if, as well as these slides as well, you'll be getting. So if you could ensure that you provide us with your name, phone, and email address, please, you could send it to Stefan Rampasad. He's compiling the information. So once you send it to him, he will ensure that you get the information from today's session. If for any reason you did not get the information, send an email to study@ctscollege.com advising you attended the session, but you didn't get the information, and we will be sure to send you that information as well. Well, guys, I thank you for your time and for attending today's session, and I look forward to you being part of the program and working with you guys as well. Have a blessed day, everyone, and a wonderful weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, sir.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thanks very much.
You're most welcome. And thanks again, Dennis.
No problem.